Hey, welcome back. This is going to start part two. If you haven't seen part one, you should be able to find it right above here. Go ahead and click on that video, and at that point, you should be able to watch part one. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start part two right now. And this is why I bring this up is because here's the deal. If you're fighting a wizard, an 18th level wizard, their intelligence is like a 17, 18, 19, whatever. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they also could have buffed it with different abilities and other things, too. They could have temporary scores because of items and stuff into the 20s. Like, we just finished a game last night, and I was the wizard. I had a 23 intelligence score because of items and tomes and everything else I had.
You were only level 11, but that's
3-5. Yeah, it's 3-5. Yeah, I was level 11. But the point is, if my character goes against somebody, I'm literally the smartest person on the planet, according to that.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have a high wisdom score, so I may not be the best person to like find my socks in the morning. But I am Einstein.
Yes.
In terms of, oh, what's he? I'm going to hit him with that spell.
Yeah.
And so if they're fighting a big bad who's got an intelligence of above 16, an intelligence above 18, they're not going to just be like, I'm going to pick off the fighter with this spell. It's going to be the worst things they can possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why if you're going to play those things, you need to prepare. And I wouldn't just make a spell list. That's dumb. I would literally go, first round is this, because it's the most devastating thing they can do.
Targeting against this player because, going back to our thing of, oh, so he's a cleric because of his mace and holy symbol.
Mm-hmm.
I know that clerics have poor, this save, this save, this save, this save.
Right.
These spells are great against them.
Right, and a lot of times when I would do like my knowledges, and I'd be like, well, what are their saves? Like the DM's always like, well, they're immune against fire. I'm like, I don't care about immunity against fire. What are their saves?
They have a good fort, they have a poor will, and they have an okay
cool will.
reflex.
Thanks.
Yep.
Let me go look at will spells now because that's what I'm going to target because I have an intelligence of so high.
Yes.
And that's the same thing, right? So your wizard's going to come out and they're not going to do a fort save again, fort save, this is 3-5, but they're not going to do like a strength roll in 5-0 or something like that against the fighter. That doesn't make any sense. They're going to target the other three, the last three characteristics, the intelligence, the wisdom, and the charisma-based stuff.
You're not going to go throw a reflex spell against the rogue because he's going to make it and take no damage.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, fireball at the rogue. Why? Fireball the wall then. It's just as effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess there's no real difference. So my whole point on this is just to say, when you're playing your monsters, look at their intelligence, figure out what they would do, and if they're incredibly high, make these guys the meanest people you've ever seen in your life, because that's what they would be. They didn't get to be like a level 17 cleric because they were nice the entire time, even if they're lawful good or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not how that works.
Epic level wizard's not going to keep throwing magic missile because that's the only thing that you can guarantee to hit.
No.
It's going to do some nasty thing like time stop, and like 17 spells later, everything hits.
Well, and that's the other thing too, right? Higher level spells, for the most part, your battlefield control, specifically if it's not just one person versus a bunch of people, your battlefield control is the best thing you can do. And all that means is simply this. Remove a player, incapacitate a player.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not talking about like symbol of death or disintegrate. No. Like the temporary banishment spell is a great one.
I bite from the bards, great because it locks them out for 10 rounds, and you actually have the choice of all of the saves, so you can actually handpick your worst save.
Exactly. So I bite's great. It's like, who is it? What's he wearing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know, and if he's a bard, he knows exactly. I mean, he sings about people's regalia garbs. Like he knows, he can literally, as a bard, he can literally look at a person and know exactly what their class is, even if it's some weird multi-class weirdness. He goes, oh, well, you're this and this because I've seen so many people because of my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it to you this way. If you don't believe this, so I was in Israel back in 1998. And as we were walking by this beggar, he, in English, said a phrase. I don't remember what the phrase was. Then he turned and in German said another phrase to another couple. He then turned in Italian, said another phrase to another couple. He then turned in Spanish to, and I'm not talking Mexico Spanish, I'm talking about Spain and Portuguese type stuff. He said in some sort of Spanish dialect to them the same words. And I watched him do this because I just sat down like away from him and just literally watched him pick out like 17 to 18 different ethnicities on the spot. Mm-hmm. Why? Because his job was to be able to get foreigners' attention to give him money. And he may only have known one or two phrases in every language. But the thing was, the fact that he could spot a German out of a crowd compared to a Frenchman out of a crowd, yes. compared to an Italian, compared to an English, compared to an Ireland, Scottish, Canadian.
And
I mean, he even did a Canadian accent once. I was like, holy crap. And this is your bard, right?
And I don't know if he's actually begging or if that's just his con, but yeah. Regardless, he still knows, because he's in a tourist spot,
yep.
knowing everybody who's going to be coming through here in their native yep. language is going to help me get more money.
Absolutely.
So learning the phrase or two is worth it.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the hard skill is learning how to pick up in the ethnicities out of a crowd.
And my whole point on this is, if you're a bard, your entire job is to play to a crowd, which means you can identify their profession, specifically if they're adventurers,
mm-hmm.
out of a crowd just by what they're wearing. Like, and if the bard can identify goods on a site, they're like, oh, look, you're wearing these boots. Those boots are only really worn by one of two classes.
Yeah.
And the hood you have on now identifies you as the other class. Like, it's not even hard for
your
these
local
guys.
Thieves Guild knows how to pick and loot goods.
Yes.
So you're going through the market, adventurers would be prime.
Rich, poor.
Would be prime targets for Thieves Guilds, because you're walking head to toe on magic items.
Yeah, exactly. What better am I going to sell to you who don't understand the value of $1 anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I don't remember what it used to be. I was like, I don't know, something like a silver coin was a month of wages or something. And no offense, you kind of like, how many gold is there? Oh, there's silver? Leave it.
Staying at the equivalent of a 5-star hotel with all of your amenities is 5 silver pieces, according to 3.5.
Right.
And level 1 adventuring party, good loot is a couple hundred gold pieces.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, you're a prime target.
Yeah.
So when you're running these monsters, just think about how, if you were the monster, that's what I would do, really simply. Am I the monster? If I'm the monster, would I just go with my other 17 buddies and go try to fight this guy who we can't hit?
Would I be walking into my own death sentence?
Would I circumvent that guy because, hey, like, there's 4 other guys, or our big dude,
mm-hmm.
right? You know, like, I'm walking in with, three MMA fighters, and like, oh, the 3 MMA fighters are going to go against their 3 MMA fighters. I'm not going to go fight an MMA fighter. That's pointless.
Yeah.
But there's that guy in the back that doesn't look like he knows how to handle that sword that well. I'll go fight him, So
is the rogue going to show his hand until he's able to hide around the combat and then sneak attack the wizard?
Right, exactly. All I'm saying is, the way that we play monsters is we just play them like cannon fodder. They all rush to the front. They all kill the guy in the front. They all get killed.
Which is why they all get killed. Because... oh, hey, we just need to keep the meat shield alive long enough for us to whittle everybody down.
Just put the cleric right behind the meat shield with his hand on his back, constantly casting heals. And then the wizard is constantly casting some spells that's causing either battlefield control or damage to the front lines that are fighting their fighters. And in the meantime, your fighter's getting hit for 80 or 180 points. But it doesn't matter because he's getting healed for 200 almost immediately. Yeah. And there's no real threat.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is if your monsters play smart, because they are smart, and all of a sudden it's like your big guy and their big guy engaged. The next thing you know, the small guys are coming around. Now the wizard's getting a little like not happy. First of all, they split, which means fireball's worthless.
Uh-huh.
And now they're infiltrating your ranks, which means fireball's worthless. And lightning bolt might be worthless because I might have to hit my guy to do the lightning bolt. Life gets a little interesting,
And... once the wizard gets hit a couple rounds by the peons, and he's able to deal some damage to that, and his kidney's gone because the rogue finally got there.
The rogue found him, right? And now all of a sudden, everyone's a little concerned because you just took out your, for lack of a better word, glass cannon, right? Because your wizards are always glass cannons. Yeah. No health, tons of damage, and that's why they stay in the back.
Wizards are great when they're prepared, and wizards never prepare for getting hit.
No, exactly. So why not have them come flanking around? And that's exactly what monsters of an average intelligence would do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even worse if you're monsters of a 17 or higher intelligence, because they're going to look at it and go, big guy, don't care. Oh, the wizard in the back.
Yeah.
Cool. Flesh to stone. It's a fort save. Good luck.
Yeah.
Your fort sucks. Oh, now look, the wizard's stone. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as long as I can keep the cleric from going back there to but the cleric doesn't have that spell loaded up. He's gonna have to wait a day. So the wizard's now out of the fight forever.
Yep.
And now it's like, okay, now what can the guy do? And this is where it could get ugly. Flesh to stone the wizard. Next round. Banish the fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Next round. Incapacitate the cleric.
Which.
And next thing you know, you have like this total party kill because you have like 5 or 6 small little dudes that are keeping people busy while one wizard in the back is just pinging off the people in the order that makes sense.
You're not killing them because it's actually easier just to get rid of them.
It's really not. It's actually hard to kill somebody.
Yeah, it's easier to get rid of them.
Just easier to turn them to stone.
And from your player's perspective,
or...
same logic you're using against them, they can use against you.
Yep.
If the fighter just bull rushes past the fighter to go hit the wizard because the wizard's
right.
a threat.
Yeah, that would be fun. That's another advantage, right? We didn't talk about that, but your fighter can, I'll take the attack of opportunity from your fighter.
And then I'm going to go charge and hit that wizard.
I'm still going to get my hit off on the wizard because you can't kill me in one hit.
I need to take that wizard out before he gets his turn.
Right, it's like 2 level 15 fighters. How much damage could you truly do to me?
Not much.
On an attack of opportunity. 1 hit.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I'm going to walk through it. Yeah, I might lose 30, 50 points. I might lose a third of my health.
But that
wizard's going down.
That wizard's going to take 2/3 of its health.
If not all of it.
And then...
because a good level fighter against a wizard could be enough.
Mm-hmm.
And now the wizard's backpedaling.
Yeah.
Right?
Instead of him being on the offensive against you guys, he's on the defensive against the fighter.
Wizards don't have defensive spells, really. That's like the cleric's domain.
But the order of banish the wizard is now banish the fighter in front of me.
Yep, exactly.
So now you keep your wizard in check. Yeah, you lose your fighter.
Yeah.
But honestly, a trade of losing their wizard for your fighters.
It's like chess. It's like, did you lose your knight, but you kept your queen? That's okay.
Yeah.
Like I do that deal every day. You know what I mean? And especially if I could really like almost incapacitate their queen and lose my knight doing so and still have my queen, I'll do that trade every day.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, I think we're just going to conclude it here.
Yeah.
And but you guys just really, if you guys think about how to use your monsters, every encounter is going to feel a lot more realistic.
And it's going to be a lot more engaging on the player's end,
yes.
too.
Oh, absolutely. And more than that, you'll actually see why the challenge ratings are the way they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Because if you're running a challenge rating 8 monster like they're a challenge rating 2, and you're not...
That's why they walk through it.
And if they have like spells at will and they have other things they can do at will, because a lot of these higher level monsters do, and you're never using the at will spells.
Yeah.
Especially that's the thing.
Especially in 5, because they've stripped magic items in terms of the actual challenge rating. So once your players gain magical items, however much, it starts to skew things differently.
Yep. But a lot of these monsters will have spells or spell-like abilities that you never think about, you never use. And so my encouragement is, think about it this way. If you were fighting a fighter and a wizard, and you had your choice to take out the fighter or the wizard, chances are, even if the fighter's right in front of your face, you're still going to take the wizard out. Because it's safer.
It's the whole entire thing that my grandpa told us about
the guy with the gun and the guy with the knife. Yeah.
The guy with the knife sprinting at you, and then you have the guy with the gun, except you change the guy with the knife as a fighter, and you change the guy with the gun as a mage.
No, the way around.
Flips. So
you actually, because on that regard, if in the MythBusters showed this too.
Yes.
If there's a guy with a knife within like a football field of you, you should take him out.
Yes.
If there's a guy with a gun,
he would have
already shot you by now. And that's the thing, right? So it's like it's the reverse. It's like if the fighter's rushing towards you, that's okay. Mm-hmm. If the wizard's in the back, you should take him out. Mm-hmm. Anyway, just run your fights differently, and I think you'll see a lot of changes in how your players react, and also your encounters will go longer, and they'll sap more of the player's resources than probably what you're doing today. So that's it. You guys have a great day. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.